Hi, Woods of Odin responding to Epicurean atheist does not compute. You were talking about the double standards that some fundamentalist that some Christians have, in particular fundamentalist Christians, and how your dad was rather down on faith and yet has faith. And I've had to recently, I guess I could say, reinterpret the gods. And so you might call me something like an atheist pagan or an atheistic pagan or something along those lines. One thing that I noticed that I guess I'm kind of piggybacking off your video here, that many fundamentalist Christians, they understand not to trust the state, to trust government just because it's government. They understand that, say, Federal Reserve money isn't backed by anything, so all sorts of funny business can happen to the currency and make it utterly tank. Um, they understand that, you know, that things can be provided privately or through volunteerism or through charity, be it religious or secular. They may even know about friendly societies, and they understand that people can certainly socialize and cooperate very well without a, quote, nanny state lording over them and forcing them to do what comes natural. They understand that you don't need a state to create a demand for something that there is clearly a demand for, i.e. roads. However, when it comes to something like God, we recently had this whole fiasco with this Hurate, or whatever the fuck they're called, this fundamentalist end times militia group that's getting ready to fight the Antichrist. They don't understand that they still have faith in what could be called a mystical sky daddy, and they don't understand that the church can't be trusted, or even if they understand that the church can't be trusted, they don't understand that a book full of Bronze Age myths cannot be trusted. And, well, actually, there's another double standard here. They will use the fruits of science. In fact, they may even study the fruits of science. My dad had a degree in electrical engineering, and he worked in telecommunications and got very far in it. And he was very scientifically literate, had a wonderful understanding of, well, lots of scientific concepts. If you were to argue for, say, homeopathic medicine or something like that, he would be able to argue against it rather easily. However, he was Roman Catholic, and when it got to debates of how we got here, evolution versus creation, he suddenly fell back to, poof, God created Adam and pulled out one of Adam's ribs, and created Eve. And I mean, I've seen him just completely um, digress. No, that's not the word. I've regressed. I've seen him completely regress to that, literally, in a discussion. And it's not even like he was spouting some of the creationist lies, like there are no transitional species, that some people believe, oftentimes quite innocently and naively, because they've just been steeped in this stuff. And sometimes creationists make things look scientific, intelligent design, creation, science. Irreducible complexity. They wrap things in this facade of science when it's not. But he wasn't even going that route. He was just saying, literally, and I quote, "Poof," and this is an otherwise very scientific person. Now, so but but then of course there's the other end, what people are now calling the stateists. And I understand there is a spectrum of sorts. One does not have to be okay. If you believe in any kind of state, which I will define as a monopoly on the use of force, and some people are going to define it differently, like a monopoly on the currency, or a monopoly on particular goods and services or something. I define the state as a monopoly on the use of force. But I understand there's a spectrum. For someone to be a statist, you don't have to be for the total state. You don't have to be some kind of totalitarian nutter. I understand people like Schwanner are not these, rabid lunatics. They're not Marxist communists or, well, Stalinist communists. Actually, Marx is interesting, and you yourself sent me videos about showing a play involving someone playing Karl Marx and basically arguing against some of the misconceptions about communism, basically arguing against what could best be described as Stalinism. I understand there is a spectrum, but if you are for a monopoly on force, you are a statist. Now, on YouTube, we have people that just they have this double standard of, well, they understand that the mysticism of ages past, and I'll even say I meditate, I do ritual work. This can all be very helpful to a person, but they understand that the mythology of the past at least should not be taken literally. And for those, and I have a lot of pagan friends, and if you do, that's fine. If you believe in literal gods outside yourself, that's fine. I'm not judging you for that, only because you're not going to bring it on my doorstep, just like I'm not going to bring, my opinions on your doorstep if uninvited. So, yeah, but, I mean, the difference between you guys and the fundies is just, you guys are good people. The vast majority of YouTube pagans are friends of mine because you're good people. And whereas the fundies, well, one, they're not good people, and two, they're dangerous people. That they do bad things, and they are trying to force their philosophies on other people, and they're pretty erroneous philosophies that they want to take us back to, the Middle Ages or something. I mean, these are the kind of people that, would kill people like Galilei or something. But anyway, we have these stateists that they understand that we can discard old mythologies, especially the Abrahamic ones. May I say that again? Especially the Abrahamic ones. Yes, I am very biased. Especially the Abrahamic ones. Those are the most dangerous because those essentially say my truth or nothing. All the rest of most of the rest of the religions of the world are like, we believe we're right, but we're not going to make everyone else believe. Hindus believe that they're right, and yes, there has been violence between, say, Hindus and Muslims, and yes, there are fundamentalist Hindus. I know Gandhi was killed by a Hindu. Yeah, you get funny fucktards everywhere, but most Hindus aren't, Hinduism is the only way. They think they're right, but they don't think that they're the only religion that should ever exist, ever, ever, ever. Like most of the people of the Abrahamic religions do. And, so, anyway, so we have people that, on the religious end, we have people that understand that this state is an essentially mystical idea. And on the statist end, you have people that don't, that understand religion is a mystical idea. And I would like for the two groups to sit down and close the gap. And